Communication during technological change is not just about conveying information. It's about shaping how people understand, feel about, and respond to transformation. The difference between AI initiatives that generate enthusiasm and those that create resistance often comes down to communication strategy. This lesson focuses on specific communication frameworks that inspire confidence rather than anxiety during AI transformation. When communicating about AI, you're navigating several tensions simultaneously. You need to be honest about changes without creating panic. You need to acknowledge uncertainty without appearing indecisive. You need to convey urgency without implying crises. You need to be clear about direction without pretending you have all the answers. Poor communication defaults to the extremes, either glossing over challenges with forced optimism or emphasizing threats that create defensiveness. Effective communication finds the balance that enables productive engagement. Before discussing how to communicate, clarify what you're communicating about. AI transformation serves some purpose. What is it? Are you using AI to improve customer experience, reduce operational costs, accelerate innovation, enter new markets? Each purpose suggests different communication emphasis. When your purpose is clear, communication becomes more focused and authentic. When your purpose is unclear, communication feels abstract and fails to motivate. Effective communication about AI transformation follows a structure that addresses both rational and emotional needs. Your context: why does this matter now? The vision: what we're working toward. The reality: honest acknowledgement of challenges. The path: how we'll get there. The role: what this means for individuals. Let's explore each element. We have the context, creating the why now. People need to understand why AI transformation is happening now, not later or not at all. Connect to strategic imperatives. Link AI initiatives to broader organizational goals people already understand and care about. Our goal is delivering exceptional customer experience. For example, AI enables personalization at scale. This wasn't previously possible, making this customer experience goal achievable in ways it was not before. This grounds AI in familiar strategic context rather than presenting it as a separate, confusing technology initiative. There's external reality without fear-mongering. Acknowledge competitive reality honestly without creating panic. Several competitors are using AI to reduce costs and improve service speed, you might say. We need help. We need to develop similar capabilities to remain competitive. That would be different from saying, if we don't adopt AI immediately, we'll fail. The first creates urgency through reality. The second creates anxiety through threat. And opportunity framing. Position AI transformation as opportunity more than defensive necessity. AI enables us to focus our expertise where it creates most value while handling routine work automatically. This is an opportunity to evolve our roles toward more strategic, creative work is one way you might say this, and this framing emphasizes what's gained, not just what's changing. For vision, painting the future state. People need a clear picture of what success looks like after AI transformation. That may not always be 100% possible in an uncertain scenario. However, as much as possible, you want to make this concrete and relatable by making vision specific enough that people can imagine themselves in it. You might say in 6 months, you'll spend less time manually processing data and more time analyzing insights and making strategic recommendations. You'll have AI-generated reports that you refine with your expertise rather than spending hours gathering data yourself. This concrete vision is much more motivating than abstract statements like, we'll be in an AI-powered organization. That is not motivating to a lot of people. And emphasizing human value. Vision should highlight how AI enhances rather than diminishes human contribution. You might say AI will handle transaction processing, freeing our team to build deeper customer relationships and solve complex problems that require judgment and creativity. The work that creates real value and is more professionally satisfying. And alignment with values. Connect vision to organizational values people care about. You might say our value of putting customers first means giving every customer personalized attention. AI enables this at scale while maintaining the human touch in interactions that matter most. When AI vision aligns with existing values, it feels like a natural evolution rather than abandonment of identity. Credibility requires acknowledging challenges, not just celebrating opportunities. You want to name the difficulties. Address challenges people are wondering about directly. You could say learning to work alongside AI will require adapting our processes and developing new skills. That learning curve will be real, and we're committed to supporting you through it. That gives them the opportunity to stand up to a challenge and feel like they'll receive the support while knowing that they are responsible and accountable for having to stand up to this challenge. Naming these challenges builds trust. People know you're being realistic and not naive. Acknowledge emotions. Recognize that change triggers legitimate emotional responses. You might say it is natural to feel uncertain about how AI will change your role. That uncertainty is a normal response to significant change, not a sign of resistance or weakness. This validation makes people feel heard rather than dismissed. You're treating them like humans when you're openly recognizing that they're humans. Communicate honest timeframes rather than overpromising speed of transformation or understating duration of adjustments. You might say this transformation will unfold over the next year, not overnight. We'll implement gradually, learn as we go, and adjust based on what we discover. This is managing expectations, and it's more important often to manage expectations than the actual work itself. Realistic timelines, set appropriate expectations, and reduce frustrations when transformation takes longer than implied. And there's the element of the path, showing how to get there. After establishing context, vision, and reality, people need to understand the path forward. If you can't see any kind of path forward, everything feels fuzzy and confusing, and it is detrimental to morale. It does not reinforce employee retention, and you never know if the employees that you will lose are the ones you least want to lose. So there's the phased approach. Break transformation into understandable phases. Phase 1 focuses on automating routine data entry, low risk, high impact. Phase 2 applies AI to analyses and insights. Phase 3 explores more advanced applications based on what we learn in earlier phases. Phased approaches feel manageable and allow for learning and adjustment. Specify how people will be supported through the transition. You'll have access to training on the AI tools before they launch, ongoing support from our implementation team, and monthly sessions where we'll discuss what's working and address challenges together. Concrete support commitments reduce anxiety about being expected to figure everything out alone. And feedback mechanisms. Explain how input will be gathered and incorporated. You might say we'll survey the team monthly about how AI implementation is going, conduct focus groups to understand challenges, and adjust our approach based on what you tell us. Your experience will shape how we proceed. This creates confidence that transformation isn't just happening to people, but with them. And for role, making it personal. General communication about AI transformations must eventually become personal. What does this mean for me? There's the specific role impact. Be clear about how specific roles will evolve. For example, for account managers, AI will handle initial client research and data compilation. You'll focus on relationship building and strategic consulting, activities where your expertise and client relationships create the most value. Specific clarity about role evolution reduces speculation and anxiety. And then there's development pathways. Communicate how people can develop capabilities that complement AI. You could say we're investing in training for everyone on data interpretation and strategic analyses, skills that become more valuable as AI handles data gathering. You'll have opportunities to develop these capabilities as your role evolves. Again, you're showing them support, that you're providing them support, and you're also letting them know they have accountability as well. This is something they can work with, something something they can chew on, something they can plan for. This focuses people on growth opportunities rather than defensive preservation of current roles. And individual conversations. While general communication establishes direction, individual conversations address personal concerns. Let's discuss specifically how this affects your role, what concerns you have, and how we can support your development through this transition. Individual attention demonstrates that people aren't just workforce statistics being managed through change. Now, what you communicate matters, but so does how and how often. Use different communication channels strategically. All hands meetings for major updates and vision communication. Use Teams meetings for discussions and questions. Use written updates for detailed information people can reference. Use one-on-ones for individual concerns and development, and informal conversations for real-time pulse checking. And have regular cadence. Communicate regularly, not just when major changes occur. If you say something once and then don't again for many, many months, people feel like they don't know what to think or believe and they're left hanging. Again, it creates strife and affects productivity. You might say, we'll provide AI transformation updates in monthly all-hands meetings, weekly written updates on implementation progress, and maintain open door policy for questions anytime. Regular communication prevents information vacuums where rumors and anxiety flourish. The two-way dialogue. Create genuine opportunities for feedback, not just broadcasting announcements. The town halls with Q&A, feedback surveys, focus groups, and leadership accessibility all contribute to dialogue rather than monologue. So let's talk about language and framing choices. Specific language choices significantly impact how messages land. For example, you've heard the term augments, not replace. Frame AI as augmenting human capability rather than replacing it when that's accurate. AI augments your analytical capabilities by processing data faster, allowing you to focus on interpretation and strategic recommendations. The term evolve instead of eliminate. Describe role changes as evolution rather than elimination. Example, your role is evolving to focus more on strategic work as AI handles routine tasks. Say this instead of, you don't want to say, these tasks are being eliminated. The phrase learn, not retrain. Frame capability development as learning and growth rather than remedial retraining. It is more humane and respectful. Instead of people will need to be retrained, you might say, we're investing in helping everyone learn to work effectively with AI. And there's opportunity, not just change. Emphasize the opportunity alongside the change. Instead of just saying this is changing, you could say this change creates opportunity to focus on the work you find most meaningful. Don't wait for concerns to surface. Address them preemptively. Job security. You could say our goal is to use AI to enhance our team's capabilities, not reduce headcount. As we automate routine work, we're investing in developing capabilities in higher value areas. There's the learning curve. You could say learning to work with AI will take time and effort. We're providing comprehensive training, ongoing support, and time to learn without pressure for immediate productivity. For technological anxiety, you could say, you don't need to become a data scientist or AI expert. You need to understand how to use AI tools effectively for your work, which are practical skills will help you develop. And for loss of control, you could say AI provides recommendations and handles routine work, but you maintain decision-making authority and judgment. AI augments your capability. It doesn't make decisions for you. So something very popular in business for the last decade is storytelling, especially in the data world. So we're going to talk about storytelling for connection. Abstract communication about AI capabilities doesn't resonate like concrete stories. Sometimes use cases and examples are overused, but sometimes use cases and examples are very helpful. You might want to share specific examples of how AI will work in practice. For example, you could say, when a customer inquiry comes in, AI will immediately pull their history, identify related previous interactions, and suggest relevant solutions. You'll review these suggestions and respond with the personal touch and judgment that builds customer relationships. So concrete examples make abstract capabilities tangible. And in that example, we spoke directly to the topic. We didn't go off and try to tell some story about a baker or any other company or any other scenario, but we spoke directly to the issue that the person was interested, gave them the information they actually wanted, told them the story that they actually needed to hear. That's a difference between effective storytelling and making everybody feel like their time is being wasted. Now, there are early wins and successes. As AI implementation progresses, share success stories. The marketing team used AI to analyze customer feedback across thousands of surveys, identifying 3 key themes that informed our new campaign. This analysis would have taken weeks manually. AI did it in hours, allowing the team to focus on creative strategy. So it was a very specific success story. It was informative. And success stories build confidence and momentum. Then there's learning from challenges. When things don't work as planned, communicate the lessons. You might say something like, our first attempt at AI-powered scheduling did not account for team preferences around meeting times. We've adjusted the system based on your feedback, and it now respects individual preferences while optimizing schedules. So notice how specific that was. We told exactly what was wrong so that we can give the confidence that that issue is fixed. And it demonstrated concern about the people. And it showed that the people had ownership in this change because they adjusted the system based on the people's feedback. So transparency about challenges and adaptation builds trust. Then we have consistency between messages and actions. Obviously, no matter what you say, if your actions do not match what you say, you will eventually lose all credibility. Anything coming out of your mouth will be a waste of somebody else's time. Communication credibility depends on consistency between what you do and what you say. If you communicate that AI will augment rather than replace people, but then immediately announce layoffs due to AI automation, or even you don't tell them why, your credibility is going to evaporate pretty quickly. If you emphasize that learning is supported, but people feel pressure to master new tools without adequate time or resources, the disconnect will create cynicism. If you clearly emphasize that learning is supported and give them a timeline and stick to that timeline, then that's entirely different. When they understand the expectations, they can figure out how to work within those expectations. And the ones who choose not to have accountability. Everybody has ownership over their own success or failure in those instances. Your actions must demonstrate commitment to the values and approaches you communicate. Consistency builds trust. Inconsistency destroys it quickly. Now, different stakeholders need different emphasis in AI communication. As a leader, you already understand communications for different groups have to be different with different focuses. So for the executive team, strategic competitive implications, ROI, and risk management. For your middle management, implementation details, team support strategies, and change management. For the frontline employees, specific role impacts, learning support, daily work changes. And for customers, service improvements, data privacy, and human touch point availability. Communication should be tailored to address what each audience cares most about. And as you go down this management chain toward the employees and then out toward the customers, at each level, the people involved in those communications should be trained on how to tailor their communications. So let's talk about measuring communication effectiveness and how to tell if communication is working. So the understanding is, can people explain the AI vision and strategy in their own words? The sentiment, are people cautiously optimistic rather than anxious or cynical? And the engagement, are people asking thoughtful questions rather than disengaging? And the adoption, are people using AI tools as intended or finding workarounds? And the feedback quality, is feedback constructive and specific rather than vague complaints? These indicators help you assess whether communication is creating productive engagement or missing the mark. And then continuous communication. AI transformation isn't a one-time announcement. It's an ongoing evolution requiring continuous communication. Regular updates about progress, challenges, learning, and adjustments keep people engaged and informed. Communication gaps create anxiety as people speculate about what's happening. Treat communication as a core leadership responsibility throughout transformation, not just an initial announcement followed by silence. Effective communication about AI transformation shapes whether people approach change with confidence or anxiety, engagement, or resistance. The frameworks in this lesson give you structure for communicating clearly and motivationally, but frameworks work best when combined with authenticity, genuine care for your team, honest commitment to supporting them through change. In the next lesson, we'll explore how empathy, understanding and addressing emotional responses to AI transformation accelerates adoption and builds the trust that makes change possible. You understand communication frameworks. Now let's develop the empathy that makes those communications resonate.